installment of the Broward County Purchasing Division's Vendor Lunch and Learn series. Everybody can hear me okay? Somebody give me a thumbs up. I can see you shaking your head there, Ken. Good. I'm Kirk Dobson. I'm from the Vendor Management Office, and I'll be your host today. The subject of today's Lunch and Learn is Axia Cooperative. Axia Cooperative helps public agencies earn rebates on their cooperative spend while accessing best value, fully compliant contracts awarded by AEP recognized lead agencies. Axia's industry first rebate program puts money back in your budget and maximizes value on every purchase at no cost to the user agencies. Um, I'm going to ask you guys um, for your questions. You can put them in the chat and we're going to address them afterwards. But I want to go ahead and introduce you guys to Ken Heckman and John Heckman, right? We
Yep.
have the privilege of having Ken Heckman, founder and CEO of Axia Cooperative. With more than 35 years of executive management experience, Mr. Heckman is responsible for the overall development of Axia Cooperative's purchasing program. As such, he sets the strategic vision for the organization and works closely with leaders in the public purchasing community to deliver best value procurement solutions that meet their strict compliance needs. Mr. Heckman also serves on the advisory board of NIGP's Care for the Advancement of Research and Excellence. Prior to this role, Ken served as an integral part of the executive management team of one of the largest and most widely used cooperative purchasing organizations in the nation. Under his leadership, the organization grew from a startup to serving more than 800 supply partners and a membership base of more than 200,000 customers. So, with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ken, and he can introduce Johnny.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much, Kirk. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's time today. We will keep it casual. Feel free to put those questions in the chat. We'll address them as you put them out there. I wanted to introduce my son, Johnny Heckman, who is the smart one in the group. I was able to steal him away from the investment banking profession, where he did a lot of work in helping to sell companies. But Johnny, do you want to say a quick word?
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Appreciate everyone's time. Like Ken said, spent the better part of the last decade in investment banking. So my background is in financial services and M&A. So have a slightly different perspective to bring to the table here, but have been involved with Axia since day one, know the cooperative ecosystem very well, and I'm just excited to dig deep with you guys today.
So we prepared a deck for you. We'll go through it and feel free to chime in and ask questions about us, general questions about cooperative purchasing or what have you. Um, so we are a nationwide cooperative purchasing organization. We work with agencies from coast to coast in all 50 states. And what's unique about us is that we are practitioner centric, meaning we really focus on bringing value to the practitioner community. We are all about pursuing best practices, recognizing and having a commitment to strategic performance and continuous improvement. And that's why we are supporters of the National Purchasing Institute and NIGP and the Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award. And it's really important to us because we only create or work with lead agencies that have won that Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award to develop these contracts that you all can benefit from and piggyback on. Johnny, let's just dive right in and go to the next slide. This is me. I do serve on NIGP's Center for the Advancement of Research and Excellence, which is an honor to do, and it really leans into the profession. In that role, we are working not only with practitioners like yourself to advance research and pursue excellence and provide content that it will be available to you, but we're also working across with professors from university to develop curriculum that can help train the next generation of procurement professionals. So excited about that. It's a relatively new board, and we'll see where it goes over the next couple of years. And keep an eye out for that NIGP care effort out there. So let's go to the next slide there, Johnny. So I'll briefly just touch on cooperative purchasing. I think most of you are probably familiar with what cooperative purchasing is, but it really is a procurement method where multiple agencies kind of share in a competitive solicitation. A nationwide cooperative like Axia, we do that on a national basis, and we do it through a piggybacking methodology. So we make sure that we have that right lead agency that puts forth an RFP and creates a best value award, really drives towards best value to make sure that you're aggregating nationwide spend, getting a great price, but more importantly, getting the best service available. So we really lean into those achievement of excellence in procurement award winners as our lead public agency. Those lead agencies go through a competitive solicitation, and then the resulting awards are available for you to piggyback. And why is it important? It creates a methodology that is much more efficient for practitioners on a national basis. It allows you to focus your efforts on the more pressing and strategic solicitations that you have to do locally, and being more, and it allows you to be more efficient with your day-to-day purchases by piggybacking off of these cooperatives, right? So certainly creates efficiency. It is a best-in-class practice that most agencies around the country are leveraging as part of their procurement strategy. And it allows you to get better value from the suppliers that are responding to these solicitations and winning these awards. So the nice thing is it's free for you guys. There's no cost for membership. You're eligible to use these things. They meet your competitive solicitation standard and your procurement best practices. So we're all about compliance and transparency. So we make sure that our process is at best and breed practice for you. Let's go to the next slide there, Johnny. Some trends. I wanted to talk about trends in the cooperative space. Certainly, we have seen it, and especially from the financial crisis of 2008, we really saw an acceleration in the adoption and the utilization of cooperative purchasing, right? So it really went from a very low percentage of spend that agencies were leveraging cooperatives for, to a much higher percentage of spend. And we've also seen just the number of agencies that utilize this methodology increase over time. Recent survey is showing that it's at least 85% of all public agencies in all 50 states are leveraging cooperative procurement as a part of their strategy. Certainly, we've seen an acceleration in the amount of spend that is going through this methodology, especially since the pandemic. Oftentimes, we've seen many of these programs that have doubled in volume. Agencies are just recognizing it as a best practice and as a way to be more efficient and save money. So we've seen that upward trend. We've seen a rapid increase in the percentage of spend. So when I started this 3 decades ago, maybe less than 5% of spend of an agency spend, you went through this methodology. Now I'm seeing some agencies that it could be as high as 50% of their spend. But on average, what we see overall is it's roughly between 20% and 30% of an agency's spend is through a cooperative procurement methodology. And it just allows you guys as practitioners to be more strategic, and it brings certainly financial benefits to you and cost savings to you. So great methodology. Let's go to the next slide, Johnny. Now, what you've seen, and I'm sure some of you as practitioners have seen, that there has been a proliferation of additional entrants in the market, like Axia. We might be a new name for you. Axia, certainly the word Axia actually means value, and that's why we chose it. But what we've seen for those cooperatives that have been around for a while, they've lost sight of what I think are best practices in public procurement. You know, what we've always been about is driving towards best value. And some of these larger cooperatives have what I would describe as too many awards. And what you see is they'll put forth an RFP, and I don't want to name any of them, but they are the largest of the large cooperatives. They'll put forth an RFP, and instead of driving towards best value, which is, you know, the best supplier with the best price and the best program wins, they'll award to too many. They'll award to everyone. And I don't know how you derive what is best value. I don't know how you as practitioners, you know, can discern which of these offers that they awarded to is best value without having to do further due diligence on your own. So one trend we're seeing is that the larger cooperatives have too many awards. They're not driving towards best value. They're giving an award to everyone that responds, and that's not good public procurement in my opinion, right? I'm also aware of the fact that they're often putting the needs of the supplier and kind of selling the supplier on the supplier's ability to gain access through a compliant process to practitioners in the public procurement community, and they're more supplier focused, or have become little by little more supplier focused than they are practitioner focused. They're honestly, a cooperative exists to help you, to bring you benefit, to bring you value. And certainly that's what the cooperative space needs to be about. Not supplier first, but agency first. And that's really important. And then the third piece is there are some concerns with the way certain cooperatives partner with the public space, and how their lead agencies go about it. So some cooperatives use just one lead agency, right? Some cooperatives serve as their own lead agency, and they don't utilize the products that they procure. So there's not really a need. They're just creating contracts so that they can throw them out there in the public space and have others piggyback them, but they really don't have an intent to utilize the contract itself. So that can be a problem. And that's why we, as a cooperative, have leaned into these Achievement of Excellence in Procurement awards, because those folks, the folks that we partner with to develop these, the contracts that we have in our portfolio, they are the best of the best. They do put forth a best practice methodology. They do have the right strategy, and they are driving towards continual improvement. So next slide there, Johnny. Yeah, so I put some best practices in here for you, right? When you're looking to piggyback either an Axia contract or any other cooperative's contract, right? There's some things that are important to consider, right? First and foremost is the process is everything. Without the proper public procurement process, the cooperative really has nothing to offer. So it's really important that you ensure, as part of your due diligence, that the lead agency has gone through a good solicitation, that they publicly solicited and awarded the contract, that it has been advertised the right way, that the lead agency is using an RFP, versus just the bid, so that, you know, you can consider total value. And then the last piece is, you know, the cooperative really has nothing to offer. So it's really important that you ensure, as part of your due diligence, that the lead agency has gone through a good solicitation, that they publicly solicited and awarded the contract, that it has been advertised the right way, that the lead agency is using an RFP, versus just the bid, so that, you know, you can consider total value. it's really important that you've seen there's competition, and that these lead agencies are not awarding to everyone, but they're driving towards best value, right? So the advertising, driving towards best value, it's really important that there are no fees, that this is accessible to you guys simply by registering with the cooperatives, and that there's no mandates, there's no fees. So that's important too, right? Then you'll want a cooperative like us that's going to be an additional leverage point for you, so that when you have issues with a supplier, um, what's nice is the cooperative has folks piggybacking nationwide, so we bring leverage, and if you need attention, we could go straight to the top of the organization, not just your local rep, to make sure that you get the attention and the outcomes that you need, right? We certainly do. We monitor the performance of the supplier. We monitor everything that they do, and make sure that they're providing great service to you. And then we're the only cooperative and we'll talk about this more in the future in the next couple of slides, but we're the only cooperative that is providing value back to you in the form of a rebate, right? So the way cooperatives are in existence is that out of marketing dollars from the suppliers, they're paid an administrative fee. And what Axia is doing is giving a portion of that fee back to you in the form of a rebate. And we're the only national cooperative to do that. So we're not only providing a great price and a best value procurement, we're also providing a rebate back to you as an agency based on your spend. We think the lead agency reputation is really important as well. That's why we use those AEP award agencies, and that the other thing we just say here, this last bullet is just that you can easily get to the information associated with the procurement and the award. So we make that publicly available to you, so that you can quickly do a due diligence process and make sure that everything with the award aligns with the scope of what you're trying to leverage the award for, right? So all of that is available on our website, and maybe we'll punch out to our website here in a minute and let you just see where you can view some of that information. Let's go to the next slide there, Johnny. Some considerations for you guys. I really want this to be practitioner centric. And so some considerations as you think through, should I leverage a cooperative, or would I be better off doing an RFP or a bid on my own, right? So I'll just touch on these, but certainly speed and timing of what you need, and what you're trying to procure, and what the department's needs are. When are the products needed, right? Certainly a cooperative can help you in that regard, versus having to go out and do a full solicitation. Certainly bandwidth and staff resources. You guys are asked to do more with less, have been for years. That trend continues. You have the same due diligence process. You have the same compliance process that you have to go through. So your resources, your bandwidth is important, and certainly leveraging cooperatives as a compliant procurement methodology can help with that, right? The customization, right, of the award. So do you have the ability to layer in your own terms and conditions on top of the master agreement? That might be a consideration as to why you or why or why not you might use a cooperative. Certainly, we make sure that the awards are comprehensive, and you have the ability to leverage your own T's and C's on, or layer your own T's and C's on top of it. With a participating addendum or whatever you need, right? So having the flexibility and the ability to customize a solution to your needs is important. Pricing and value is, of course, a consideration. Funding requirements. Did the cooperative include language for, like 2 CFR, and if you have federal funds that you are utilizing for this particular procurement, you want to know that the lead agency included the ability to do that, included the right language, included federal funds compliance language, which all of our lead agencies do. So funding requirements are important when you're considering leveraging a cooperative as well. And then I'll go back to what I said, that lead agency reputation. Ultimately, when you piggyback, you as practitioners, when you piggyback, you're substituting your process, your own process, your own reputation for that of the lead agency. So you got to darn well be sure that that lead agency has a process equal to or better than what you would do on your own, right? And that's really a key consideration. So these are all just kind of food for thought, key procurement considerations. You guys as professionals, you kind of go through, right, when you're considering the use of a cooperative. Let's go to the next. All right, so about us, right? I've kind of gone through more general information. I've mentioned some of these points, but we're all about excellence in public procurement. We are driving towards best value. Our name means value. We are the only cooperative on a national basis that offers a no-cost, rebate program on all of our contracts, every single one of them. You might see a cooperative that might have a rebate with a supplier, but we do it for all of them. This certainly affords you guys savings. Some agencies, will just use it for continuing education, right? They'll send somebody to the NIGP conference with the money back that they get or something like that, right? So there's different ways that they'll use that. Sometimes a lot of times it goes back to the general funds and then general fund, and then the procurement director will argue with the finance director that, hey, let us in purchasing use those for continuing education classes and things like that, continual improvement. I've talked about how selective we are with our lead agencies and that AEP award. Last week, I was at the NPI conference, the National Purchasing Institute. I watched many agencies receive their award there. I watched their continual pursuit of improvement and the educational programs. As a sponsor, we were able to participate in that, and I really enjoyed being a part of that, and certainly encourage you to take a look at that organization, the AEP award. We are very adamant about limiting the number of awards that we have. I mentioned earlier that some cooperatives are awarding to everyone, and we don't view that as a best practice. We want to make sure that we have a single award for a single, that we have one award for a single category. If the lead agency is going to have multiple suppliers awarded, we want to make sure that they were scored, like the evaluation committee scored them within a very tight threshold. We don't, as an example, our cybersecurity award, we had 50 something responses to that, and the lead agency was very selective and limited awards based on categories, but there's multiple awards there, and they all scored within a threshold. So really important for us to limit awards and ensure that we have the best in class suppliers.
Hey,
we also
Ken,
make sure that.
Just real quick question.
Yeah,
question
sure.
in the chat from Jermaine. And Jermaine, we'll get to the rebate questions on the next slide. And also Wendell, looks like. Question around the number of suppliers and supplier awards. So if the basis of an award is to award to all vendors, how does that remove or reduce the value of the cooperative agreement?
Yeah, I just don't think that's, I think part of doing a solicitation, right, is trying to get a response that provides you best value. If everyone gets an award, which one's best value? And this is from leader, I'm associated with many leaders in the profession. A guy that was past president of NASPO, president of NPI. I have friends that were past presidents of NIGP, and they'll tell you that if you're awarding to everyone, that's not a good practice, right? Better procurement is that the evaluation committee, the lead agency, needs to be driving towards the best response, right? The most responsive, submission. That's what you want to be driving for, and that's how you get to best value, and that's what's best for your agency. So I just personally, I'm a strong believer in that. I think the good practice is to do that. I think the cooperatives, there are some cooperatives that, for a given category might have 10 awards, 15 awards. I know of one cooperative that has 60 awards for furniture. And that's just, to me, it's like, okay, which one's best? I don't mind you having a handful, maybe one for each category, but which one's best? So anyway.
Yeah, and so Ken, maybe to tack on to that question, additional question here from Wendell. So how does Axia's selection and award process ensure that only the most competitive and high value suppliers are chosen?
Yeah, so we, as the cooperative, we don't get to score. We don't get to participate, or we don't get to score. The lead agency will have an evaluation committee, just like you guys would. The evaluation committee is going to read all the respondents, and they're going to score. We will serve as an advisor to the lead agency and the evaluation committee, just to say we'll be there to answer questions or provide advice, but we don't get to score. It's not our award, it's the lead agency's award. So in those discussions, we have the ability, if they do something crazy and they award to 15 suppliers, we can say, well, we're not going to participate. We can walk away and say we don't think that's good practice. Or we can say we, as the cooperative, want to just partner with the top respondent or the top 2 or 3 respondents. So there is some leverage that we have in that regard, right? That we can certainly choose their awardees and which ones we allow to be part of the cooperative. But we do advise the evaluation committee and just provide our counsel. They can take that or not take it. I mean, because it is their award, and we don't get a vote. But usually through that process, we are encouraging. And on the front end, as part of the due diligence, when we're evaluating a lead agency, we're talking through what methodology to use, when you award and all that kind of stuff. So we've usually kind of talked through that before the solicitation even hits the street. And so we know that they're a good procurement group, and they're not going to do that. So those are some of the ways we do that. Right?
Yep, great. Additional question here from Robert. Can you please explain how we or you may be able to incorporate our small and local businesses from the surrounding areas into the contract awards?
Great question, right? So it depends on the award and the category, but oftentimes what a cooperative award can do is work with the awarded supplier to make sure that they have a diversity. A diversity program or a small business program, as an example, that they have language that allows the awarded supplier to partner with a local agency. It's easy when it's a distributor model. So let's say it's a large furniture award, and they're a manufacturer and they have local distributors, and they could identify a small business or a diversity business that is one of their distributors in your market and say, here's options for you, right? Easy in that model. Harder sometimes when it's, let's say, a technology award with a large value-added reseller. Sometimes harder there, but there are some like value-added resellers that are do have some designations, like SHI, one of our awardees, is minority owned, woman-owned, minority-owned provider, but they're not a small business. They're huge, right? So it really just depends on the award and the nature of the award. We certainly have some small businesses, some minority-owned businesses that have received awards, and then the other option is to work with, you know, an awarded supplier to see if they can either subcontract or bring in local providers as well. So it's not foolproof. It doesn't work in every single award, but there are lots of options, and it just depends on what you're procuring.
And Robert, that's something we can help with. So if you are viewing our website and you see a contract category that is of interest, but you have that small and local business requirement that you need to meet, just reach out to us and we'll be able to help facilitate or coordinate to the best of our ability with our suppliers.
Yeah. Good
And
point,
one additional question back to the lead agency model. Can you describe how Axia vets and monitors lead public agencies to ensure their solicitation process meets state and federal compliance standards?
Yeah. So our process looks something like this. First and foremost, the number one thing that we won't even allow someone to participate is that AP award, right? So we know that agencies that have won the Achievement of Excellence in Procurement Award, and there's only 200 out of 90,000 agencies in the United States. There's 200, I think this year was 216 awardees of that award. So there's only 216 agencies that actually have met the threshold and all the standards associated with receiving that award. So that's our baseline. Then we will talk through how they typically do procurement. And we think that the best practice is to use an RFP for nationwide cooperatives. So we'll look at their RFP process. We'll take a look at their template. We help them advertise it. And then we have a number of addenda that we ask them to put into the solicitation to make sure that we have national compliance. So there'll be we make sure that like all of the federal funds compliance language, which we have, right, is included in their deck or in their solicitation. I'm sorry. So we ask them to amend those things in. We have former public procurement professionals on staff that work with them during the scope writing and evaluate how their what their method of approach is and all of that. So we have people that have sat in your seat and have done public procurement that are experts in public procurement. Many of them have retired or from public procurement, but they have the background. So everything is being viewed through that public procurement practitioner lens. And those folks are very engaged with the lead agency throughout the process. So in terms of scope writing and all of that, once that's done, we're reviewing it and we're looking to make sure that it meets the strictest standards. We're making sure that we actually do the advertising for them they'll put it on their website and everything like that, but we'll make sure that it's advertised to meet the needs of the local jurisdictions around the country. As an example, not in Florida, but in the state of Oregon, there's a requirement that every agency has to be named in the solicitation. So we have an addendum that's just like the Oregon agencies and all of these kind of unique needs. But so it's vetting them with the AEP award winners. It's vetting their process. It's having our procurement experts, public procurement expertise involved in the process, and making sure that we have eyes and ears on the actual RFP and solicitation, and we give them suggestions. They can take them or not, because it is their RFP. But we're very engaged in all of that and have experts that are on our team that do that day to day. I hope that answered it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I realize we've got about 9 minutes. I do want to have some time to walk through the rebate program, and I know there's been a handful of questions there, but
why don't you do that? Why don't you do that, Jim?
Just one more question here before we move on, and we can answer this pretty quickly. But Ken, maybe just address this. How do you support agencies in monitoring contract performance once the cooperative contract is in use? And this is in relation to
QBRs. Yeah, so we have regular touch points with the leadership of the awarded suppliers. It's usually at a minimum, it's monthly, right? But then we'll have a formal kind of QBR, and then on an annual basis, we'll have an annual review where we'll sit with the lead agency and go over performance, right? We'll see how many agencies are piggybacking it. We'll look at how they're serving the lead agency. We'll make sure we'll provide feedback if we get it from you guys. We encourage active dialogue with us, so that if there is ever an issue with your contract, if you're not getting an initial response or satisfaction in terms of resolving any issues, you can escalate it to us. There is a pathway where you can escalate it to us, and we can escalate it to, usually it's the head of government, for that supplier. So it's usually like a senior VP of their government sales team that we would elevate it to and say, hey, we're running into some performance issues, maybe fill rate issues or things like that. So we are an additional leverage point for you. We certainly want to be a resource for you in that regard. But outside of you elevating it through us, we're receiving reporting from them regularly, and we're doing those QBRs.
Okay. Well, let's save some time to discuss the rebate program. I know there's been a handful of questions around this. Like Ken mentioned, we're the only cooperative to offer direct rebates to agencies, to our participating agencies, on a nationwide basis. It's very simple how it works. So Jermaine, to address some of your first questions, yes, the rebate is paid directly to piggybacking agencies. It is tied to your individual spend through any of our contracts. So an example, if you have existing spend with SHI, which we can touch on in a slide or two with one of our case studies, and you start transitioning that to convert and flow through our SHI award with Axia, you will receive direct rebates tied to your spend on that contract vehicle. It's a flat percentage. So we'll also discuss this on the next slide, but one of the ways we're able to have a bit more of a competitive portfolio when it comes to pricing is that we have, on average, lower administrative fees. And so the rebate that we pay out to our participating agencies comes out of our administrative fee. And so to simplify this for you, for every dollar you spend, you're getting 1/10 of a percentage point back in the form of a rebate out of our pocket. So it's a way that we're driving back the best value for our piggybacking agencies and ensuring that we're maximizing value for our members. So it's very, very easy. I can follow up with a form and Kurt, I might have actually already sent this to you, and you might have distributed it to the team, but essentially how to leverage the rebate program. We have a link online on our website where you can register to participate, and you can select which contracts that you are interested in, that you would like to start earning rebate dollars on. And then as soon as that occurs, you are set to start earning rebates. So if you go online and select the SHI agreement, for example, and as long as you're being quoted on our Axia SHI contract moving forward, you're earning that percentage back in the form of a rebate. It is remitted once a year. So like you'll see in the bottom right of this slide, we typically pay within 45 days after the rebate year ends, which the end of a rebate year is June 30th. So you'll be accruing throughout the year, and then we will pay that directly back to your agency. The unique thing with this is, yes, it is directly back to your agency, but we can be flexible on whether or not you want that back to your general fund, which is what most of our participating agencies do today. Or if you want it back to a specific department, we can do that as well. And so there is some flexibility there just in terms of where the funds are remitted. So that's the rebate program in a nutshell. And I don't know if you have additional color you would add.
No, that's great. Why don't you just, in the interest of time, touch on the a couple of the case studies?
Yeah, so like I mentioned with SHI, so tying back to our really industry low average administrative fees, it allows us to have a bit more competitively priced cooperative contracts. So SHI is a good example of that. They have cooperative contracts with the likes of the largest national cooperatives out there. You will see here it's Cooperative 1, Cooperative 2. On average, across all categories, our pricing is the same, if not better. And so this has allowed several of our current piggybacking agencies. A good example is one large West Coast agency that just converted a few months ago, shifted their spend with SHI from an existing cooperative to Axia, signed up for the rebate program, and essentially over the span of a few months, they received an additional roughly $6,000 in rebate dollars that they're using for continuing education. And so that's the gist of the additional value that can be had through our rebate program and with a lot of our suppliers that you may already have spend with. So I know we've got some large logos, large brand names, and we have a number of new contracts coming out as well, covering HVAC, industrial plumbing supplies with the likes of Core and Main. And we just have some large logos like Napa Auto Parts, SHI, MSC that you may already have spend with. And so again, in the interest of time, this is an additional case study, and we'll send this deck to you guys after the call so you can take a look at it. But here, this is an example of a large agency in the Pacific Northwest. This was one of the largest counties in the Pacific Northwest. They were working with another cooperative, and they were trying to purchase IT products and services through a state level contract. And
yeah, it was their state contract. Yeah.
Yeah, it was their state contract. And they were just having some difficulties with the additional administrative fees that were being brought down on them by both the state and the supplier. And so they reached out to us with an ask that we get back to them because their federal funds were expiring and they were in a crunch. And what's nice about us, we have a full team on the West Coast and a lot of, like Ken mentioned, former procurement professionals. And so we were able to quickly turn around, work with our supplier to give additional incentives and get them the best price. So all in all, we were able to save them over $75,000 in the quote, and we were able to do that pretty expeditiously. So I realize we're up on time here. We were going to run through our website. I think the only other thing, we do have a fully transparent process. Everything you need is going to be found on our website under the contracts section. So if you are interested in the SHI award, you will find the original RFP, you will find the advertising, you will find the pricing all on our website. If you see something and can't find it, or if you don't see something, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. So we want to serve as a resource for you and your team, and we want to be a point of leverage for you guys as you are going out and doing your day-to-day, because we know that you ultimately have a ton on your plate. So we would not be doing our jobs if we were not a point of leverage for you.
All right. Thank you so much. Ken, Johnny, thank you for joining us and sharing what Axia has to offer for the purchasing team. Thank you for showing up and taking your time to listen. I know you got, like Johnny just said, a lot on your plate. I will socialize the documents that you send me, Johnny, as soon as I get a copy of the deck. Once again, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And this has been another fantastic example of the Lunch and Learn series. Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Much. And
thank you.
Thanks,
Kirk,
Kirk.
if you just provide them with our contact information, our email, that'd be great too.
Will do. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks,
Thanks,
team.
all.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
See ya.